And let us look at, let me do this little thing here where I'm actually sitting up straight a little bit more.
I want to see if you see this. So there is a timer app. Do you see that?
Nope, I don't see it.
All right, hang on one second. Let me.
You probably don't need it there, or are you going to use it for your own purposes?
Well, I was trying to see because when we run long, I was just trying to see. Oh, it does pop up, doesn't it?
Yep, I see that. I mean, you can put it there if you want, but
Nah. I was just if we could run it without seeing it, that would be cool. But if we see it, it's
yeah,
not
because otherwise, I mean, we could do that and just we're going to know how often that we're like way off.
off the rails.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that. I several places there's conferences that where they've got like a little speaker clock down there, and you'll watch and you'll see where it's like it's counting down, and then it's like -1, -2, -30 minutes. It's like, all right, dude. Let's see. So back to the let's see. So
We did MVP and what was the other one?
basically
Let's see, something about budget.
yeah,
How to build an app MVP without blowing your budget, and then stop chasing your tail was the last two.
that's right. Let's see. Identify areas of your need business that need improvement or are off the rail. That was actually one that I knew we had another one there. So basically,
I think you had one the week before. Did we already do that one?
uh,
To grow with demo feedback. No, we didn't touch that one.
so let's see. Well, let's just do those aren't really the same, but we could do demo feedback. We'll do that one first. And then maybe do when you're off the rails. Am I off the rails? That'll be a good second one.
Okay. Um, for this one, I'm gonna be on mute when I'm not talking unless I'm jumping in. Because I got the dogs upstairs with me today, so I don't want them to distract us too much.
All right. Well, yeah, just make sure you pop in when you need to. Wow, this is way too hot. I'm not going to start drink that right now. I'm going to start with my water though first. Good vintage year of water there. All right. Let's go with how to grow with demo feedback with a little three. This just seems like a little bit. hmm. Sorry, it just feels like I'm like in a weird way looking at this one this time. It does feel like I'm looking down a little too much. Oh, I guess it is because. Well, let's try this. Try to move it up a little more. There we go. That'll work. Because I like this better because this I can sit and I'm sort of in a sit mood. And I can't, it's like, it's not quite the same. Then it's like, it's not quite perfect. So
Okay, I love your face. I'm leaving in like 5 minutes.
great. Now you got that on the internet. Jeez. All right. I'm not leaving in 5 minutes. I'm going to be here a while. 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome back. We are continuing our season of building better businesses, even though we are the Building Better Developers podcast. And I happen to be one of the founders of Same Thing, also known as Developreneur. My name is Rob Broadhead, also a founder of RB Consulting, where we help you build a better you, a better business. We sit down with you, we help walk through your business with you, help craft a custom recipe for success for you through simplification, integration, automation, even innovation. We have spent a lot of time on technology and we understand the investment, the size of investment, and the headache an investment can be in technology. So we help you figure out how to leverage that properly, whether it is buying stuff off the shelf, whether it is building something, whether it's integrating your systems you already have. Sometimes it's shrinking the sprawl that you've got, or maybe just getting the right people in the right places, building a team to help you move technology forward. Build yourself a technology roadmap, a plan that will help you today, 6 months from now, years from now, so that you are able to keep up and worry more about your customers and less about your technology. Good thing, bad thing. I have no idea off the top of my head, but I will go back to something we mentioned in a prior one. Good thing. I have got some really cool accessories on my laptop as I'm moving into the road to be a roaming developer and a developreneur that I happen to be, and things like that. A digital nomad, as they call it. No, I did not, just create that word. That's been around for quite a while. Really cool. Lots of fun, new toys, all that goodness. Bad thing, that stuff is heavy. It's like now it's like when I just like worked on shrinking stuff down and simplifying and getting smaller and smaller. And now I'm sprawling my own technology out a little bit, but they are cool toys. So, hey, it's the price you pay. The price you pay right now is absolutely zero. You are going to get a free introduction from Michael. Go for it.
Hey everyone, my name is Michael Meloche. I'm also one of the co-founders of Developreneur, Building Better Developers, and this season, Building Better Businesses. And I'm also the founder of a company called Envision QA, where we work with small to mid-sized companies who have problems with their software. Either it's a website, home-built applications, their current software stack isn't working for them. We come in and we will help you assess your current software stack, look at your business processes, and help you improve or find better ways to use the software that you have, build something that works better for you, or better yet, maybe even go out and find the right tool that you need and get rid of the crap that is slowing you down. Good thing, bad thing. Good thing, it looks like we're just about past allergy season, or at least tree season. Most of my trees have finally came in today. I was walking to the dogs. I'm looking around. I'm like, hey, all the trees are finally in. I'm done. Maybe another few days, but it's about over. The pond's bad side, pond still has the ponds come from all the tree stuff, but it's not growing. It's just still there. So I still see it, but the light is at the end of the tunnel. It is going away.
This episode, we're going to slip a little bit back into the technology world, even though this is really, I'm going to talk about demos. And I think most people, if you're a developer, you think about a software demo, but there are product demos that have nothing to do with computers as well out there. And we're going to focus on how do you grow from feedback from a demo? Because honestly, that should be one of your primary reasons to do a demonstration of your product. I mean, yes, in a lot of cases, it is to help stir interest and maybe get some people to buy your product. But there is also some level of gauging what is the interest in your product. What are the things about your product that make it interesting or maybe even compelling for your customers? And that's what I talk about today is let's focus a little bit on like a little bit of maybe a roadmap or a checklist when you're doing a demo. How do you make sure that you get the most out of that? And particularly the most out of that very precious time you have face-to-face or in front of your customer with your product right there and them using it. That is the kind of thing that, marketing companies spend lots of money to get. So make sure that you recognize that investment and the value of that time. Now, one of the first things, and there are a couple ways you can approach it, but one of the first things you need to do is look at either the strengths or the weaknesses of your product, or at least the perceived strengths and weaknesses. Because you're either probably going to take the approach of, I'm going to emphasize my strengths, and I'm going to find out where is this product strong and where can I make it stronger and better. Or you're going to look at where are my weaknesses and where can I eliminate those weaknesses or make those a non-issue. There are arguments for both sides of that. And this is sort of a general, just like build versus buy. There's always like, how do you become better? Do you become stronger in your strengths? Do you eliminate your weaknesses? Is it somewhere in between? Now, however your approach is, you at least will go into this with some idea of there are certain things I want to address coming out of this, whether that is my strengths, my weaknesses, or some point in between. And so in order to make sure your demo is effective, one of the first things you want to do is make sure that those areas are highlighted. So for example, let's say that you have a software and application and you know that your weaknesses are the reporting. You've got a great user experience and generally do really good, but the reporting is an area that just has not gone well. You're very questioning of whether it's even valuable at all. And that's what you want to do. You're like, you know what? I'm not going to be able, my strengths are so good. I'm practically perfect. There's no way I'm going to get better there. So instead, I'm going to focus on my weaknesses. So what you want to do in your demo is you actually, in this case, you're going to want to sort of gloss over those strengths. In the demo, spend very little time in the things that bring value. Spend some time though. You don't want them to be like, gosh, this is a horrible mess. You do want to show off some of those strengths, but you really want to spend some time and give time for feedback. In this case, on the reports, in the area where you're trying to get some feedback. You're trying to figure out, how do I approach this? What really is the score or the happiness factor that this thing brings? Now you can flip that, and if it is your strengths, then by all means, feel free to gloss over all of the weaknesses. If your reporting stinks, but you really want to enhance and worry about your user experience, don't even talk about reporting. You can do focused demos. And honestly, think about it. When you do a demo, when somebody is selling a product to you or is demonstrating a product, there is almost always in the back of your mind this, I wonder what they're not showing me, especially if it's a flawless demo, which we'll talk about that in a second. It should always be a flawless demo. So we go in, even if it's not explicitly stated, we go into these things knowing that there's some level of smoke and mirrors, that there is some level of misdirection, that there's some level of we are at the mercy of whoever's driving the demo because they are showing us what they want to show us. Now that is a key that's a warning thing, is I think for if you're new in the demo world, if you haven't done a lot of demos, if you go into it just showing what you want to show them, and you're just saying, hey, look, I did this cool thing. This is a cool application. And you don't expose some of those other pieces to them, you could very well end up in essentially a sort of confirmation bias of, you had a demo, it went great, nobody gave you any feedback, it's awesome, it's going to make us $1 billion. And then you put it out there and realize that nobody likes all of the pieces that you didn't show. So you want to make sure that you're testing those other things as well, that you're getting some feedback, because those may be key areas to address. Those also may be some blind spots. There may be some things there that you think they are better than they are. And those might actually be areas where you're going to get some really good feedback and conversation. And that is really the goal through all of these, is that feedback and conversation. If you go through the whole demo and you get to the end and you say, are there any questions or any comments or suggestions? And it is just, crickets. There's nothing, everybody's like, that's great. That's awesome. You screwed up. You did not do your demo right, because there's always going to be something out there that somebody in the audience, even if it's an audience of 1 or 2 people, that they're going to say, well, wait, what about this? And don't be afraid during your demo to actually call people out. If somebody makes a face, if somebody has some sort of a mannerism, or there's something in the way they're holding themselves, or they clear their throat at a certain time, or whatever it is, say, hey, it seems like this thing bothered you a little bit, or that maybe you had some feedback. Would you like to share? Be free to extract some of that feedback as needed. And a lot of times it won't take too much. Once you can get them going and they realize that, no, you're very welcoming of even negative feedback, then a lot of times, watch out, you may let the floodgates may be open at that time. Before I pass it on to Mike, I do want to go back to the perfect demo idea. When you demo a product, if your first time to actually run through the demo is in front of your customer, you failed. If the 10th time you've actually run through that demo is with the customer, you failed. You should run through it a lot, like dozens of times. You should have a nice solid script, possibly even memorize. If you can memorize one, even better. Depending on the application, that can be very easy. Sometimes that can be very difficult. Depending on the product, that can be very easy or very difficult. And then make sure as you're building out that demo script that you're going to follow exactly. You're not going to go, oh yeah, I'm going to go click over here because I just want to show off this thing that I haven't demoed. I hadn't thought about it yet. Or if there's feedback that somebody says, hey, can you go there? Usually the best thing to do is talk around that and go, yeah, we'll get to that a little later. And then you can always do it after the demo. but don't disrupt your demo, because the next thing you know, that's the one thing that's broken that now has gotten you off track, and the rest of the demo is a train wreck. So make sure that you have really beaten the drum several times, many, many times for that you understand the script, that you could do it blindfold, basically. Now, leaving all of that out there, I'm going to throw this over to Michael. And what are your thoughts on a demo? Maybe a little your experience with some of the demos in your career.
So I'm going to go back to my college experience when I had a software engineering class. Our final project was to build, like each team had their own specific product they had to build. Ours was a security system that essentially would capture a signal when like the door would open or like the signal would break. As you said, when you prepare for these demos, you have to train, you have to go through it repeat repetitively to the point that you know this in and out, what's gonna work, what's not gonna work, and you never know what's gonna happen. We get to the day of the presentation, our sensor burnt out. So we very quickly kept the entire demo intact, but we added a quick little button click, or a hidden button click, that the moment we moved the sensor, someone would click the mouse button and show that the sensor broke. Application work. The user experience of the demo, they got the full feel of what the product was supposed to do. Now, did we fess up that it was broken? No, we wanted the A. We didn't want the C. But when you're dealing with your customer, though, that's one of those things that you need to bake into your demo. If a feature isn't, so if this is for a new customer, this is something you're building or in process of building, there will be features that will be incomplete, broken, not quite there yet. But you still need feedback from your customer at different phases of the development to know if you're on the right track. Is this working? Is this what the customer wants? But that's when you know the customer. You might be building an application or have an idea for an application that you've been working on, and you're just not, you're getting close to ready to bring it to market, but you're not sure how it's going to be received. There are a couple other ways to demo a product or an application without a customer. What you can do is you can go look for meetups, you could go look for conferences, and go talk about your product if it is a solution to their needs or it is a way to represent how the technology is being used. You can demo the application to a bunch of developers and say, this is this feature, it was built with this. You're kind of talking about the mechanics of it, not the product itself, but you're getting a different type of feedback from the Q&A, because people may be like, well, why didn't you do it with this? Or, hey, that's a cool idea. So you could, yes, you have to watch out for that confirmation bias, but these are ways where you can test your application or test your ideas for your application outside of the typical customer customer relationships for building software. The other thing that is interesting is, as you're building these products, or if you have multiple products and you get it done, you're ready to sell it, you want to get it out there. Another way to kind of demo your product is to do like trade shows or conferences. Get a booth somewhere, sit down. You have different customers walking by. You can do different pitches. You can figure out, oh, what do you do? And then there you are. You can kind of do some market research while demoing your product and see which pitches work. That's kind of a form of A/B testing, but an A/B demo, because not every demo in that situation will be scripted, will be the same. You may show one particular feature, you may go through the whole project end to end, but these are ways to improve the feedback for your application. Because if you are developing an application that does not have a set customer, you weren't commissioned to write this, you have this grand idea and you're trying to build something to sell, at some point you got to get this out in front of the people you're trying to sell it to. You can't sell something if it's in a vacuum. So to get that feedback, you have to start going out and asking for people. Now, when you get something workable or feature set enough, you could put things out there in like, hey, here is a free trial. Here is a trial piece where you get a certain feature of the application. You can kind of get the users to play with it. Don't Don't be like Windows, where here's a brand new operating system. We're going to give it to all of our customers. And for the first 6 months, you're basically our beta testers, because nothing works half the time. Don't do that. Be a little more concise. Reach out to different user groups, communities, social networking. Look for ways to do demos and try to get feedback, but don't always stick to one particular customer, because one customer may not be your only customer. What are your thoughts on that, Rod? Since you're
I have background noise and just had to mute, and it was like, oh, now it's gotten tossed to me. But luckily, the background noise has gone away, and actually, it probably won't be that bad anyways, because I have a mic that is very directional, and a Michael that can sometimes be a little directional as well. See, this is what happens when I drink decaf instead of caffeinated tea. I do want to go back to the A/B testing idea, because there is one of the things that, particularly in the world of agile development and Scrum and things like that, is that there are going to be, particularly I found that there's approaches that you will take that you need to make a decision, essentially, where it's just, you're not 100% sure that's where you want to go. You don't really know if this is how we're going to solve the problem. Maybe there's 2 or 3 ways to do it. 6 half dozen, the other 6 half, 1 half, that one can't even speak right. That it's one of these things where you really need some feedback. And what you can do, and since a lot of times it's something that's like, yes, you can do like a little, Figma mock-up or something like that, but sometimes it really helps to have the data there. And so one of the things you can do is you can actually say, we're going to go for, like, say, one screen, we're going to take the first direction. And for another screen that's very similar, we're going to take a different direction. And so that's going to allow you then actually within the demo that you can say, well, here's 2 different things. And maybe they're doing roughly the same thing. But what you can do is you can really put those in front of the customer and either just listen to their feedback and figure out if they like one and they don't like the other, or you can explicitly call it out even and say, hey, we can do it like this, or we can do it like that. Do you have preferences? And usually that's going to help. Or say, what do you like about this one? What do you like about that one? Or dislike, things like that. You can essentially work a level of A/B testing into your demos. Michael has a great example. Is if you go to like a trade show or something, the best thing about that is it's like demo. You can actually crank through a lot of demos in a very short period of time. So maybe what you do with that is you don't have one demo script, you have 3 demo scripts maybe. And then what you can do is you can tweak each of them, go out, do the demos, see where you get the best response or the most feedback. And then maybe, especially if it's a couple of days of a conference, go back that night, 3 more sets where you're just like working towards that new one, and then go do it again, repeat, rinse and repeat. And that a lot of times will allow you to really like hone in what your message is, what your pitch is, what your product is, and also to get back the things that you want of like, oh, we really need to address A, B, and C because that's what the customers want. We thought they just want us to solve C, but there's these 2 other problems we actually can solve for them. And then suddenly you've got a much better product. Now, this could be a lot of work. Demos take time. Demos take intentionality. They take you sitting there and going, okay, this is what I've got. And I really want to like show it off for a customer in some way, form, or fashion, because I'm showing it off in a way that I want explicit feedback. I want to know, is this a good feature? Is it a bad feature? Is this a feature I should include? Sometimes you're even trying to figure out what is the value of this feature, because maybe you're in the point of, now we're going to try to reprice this. And maybe we're going to figure out, would you pay once for this? Is this something you pay a subscription for? Some of those kinds of things, you can work through those or get an idea of it, feedback, and sometimes even direct feedback, direct answers if you do the demo correctly. That's where the challenge comes in. This week's challenge is it's not one of these going to probably take you 5 or 10 minutes. It's going to take you a little more than that. And I want to swing it back to the business point of view, because it really is back to sort of what we talked about a couple episodes back. We talked about elevator pitches and things like that. What I'd like you to do is think about your business what would be a demo of your business? And this is essentially, what is your sales pitch? What is it you offer? What is your distinguishing characteristics amongst whoever else does this? And then maybe even like, what are the weaknesses? What are some things that you're like, well, we do this, but it's offset by us doing these other good things, something along that lines. So whatever your business is, the challenge is to essentially work your way through, what would a demo of my business look like? This isn't like an elevator pitch. I'm not going to do this in 2 minutes. This is something where if I've got somebody that's sitting down with me for 15 to 30 minutes, what do I want to say? How do I want that to go? Now, you're going to have to change the goal of this a little bit, because a lot of times if you've got a customer in front of you for 15 to 30 minutes, what you really want to do is get them talking and just get them take up as much of that space as possible. You should just mostly be saying, great, awesome, and taking notes the whole time. Now, this is more, you've got, say, 15 minutes for a demo, and then you want that next 15 to 30 minutes for them to just be giving you feedback. That is the challenge, is how are you going to do that? What are your features? What are your strengths? And this is something, honestly, most of us, if you've done this right, if you've got a business, you should be able to crank through a lot of this stuff very quickly. You should have an idea of like, what is your avatar? Who is your ideal customer? What is the competition like? What are the key value propositions of your application? Things like that, or your product. But overall, how do you take that? How do you turn that into a full pitch? And you don't need to create slides and stuff like that. I think really just bullet pointing it, in a sense, like making sure that you've gone through again and go through that exercise of what is it that I am producing and what is the value to others.
For extra credit, record yourself doing it. Because doing these demos, especially if you have not done them before, you recording yourself doing it, even the first few times, you will pick up on some bad habits you have, and then you also can pick up on visuals that you're either doing wrong or need to improve on to make sure that the customer can follow along with your demo.
That is, particularly if you're going to have a presentation or anything like that, that is a huge extra credit thing to do. And it's very valuable to you. Actually, if you go in and record yourself, it may be something that you do it good enough. You're like, okay, I'm going to throw it on, YouTube or something like that, or on my website. It has value then that you have an evergreen sales pitch, essentially, that you could throw out there to people. I guess you could put a link on and make it part of your signature on your email. I've seen people that have had things like that, where it's just basically like, come here, learn more about my product, my site, stuff like that. A good example would be when you say, hey, shoot me an email at info@developreneur.com. Don't tell them to shoot you an email at info@developreneur.com. I know you know that, but just in case, warning labels are there for a reason. Shoot us an email at info@developreneur.com. Let us know what you think. Where are you at? What I would love to hear, like, what are some of your demo stories? The good ones, the bad, the ugly, all of these in between. Also, feedback can be we can get feedback from anywhere you listen to a podcast. You can leave us feedback there. You can leave us notes, do the little, 5-star review, 4-star review, whatever it is, negative star review. We just want feedback. Love to hear from you. Suggestions, comments, jokes, doesn't matter. We just love to hear from you guys. And we want to take that and we want to make a better podcast as we go forward. And you are who we're serving, so you will help us do that best. You can also reach us out on X. We're at Developreneur. You go to the Facebook page. We have a Developreneur Facebook page. Obviously, developreneur.com is your vast depot of content and all kinds of things that are technology, so you can see our evolution over the years, all the different technologies that we've touched, the different examples, the different tutorials, the mentoring sessions, the nuggets. I don't know, dozens and dozens, hundreds of nuggets of over the year of some of those tools no longer exist. Some have actually grown to become very popular and widely used tools. That being said, go out there and have yourself a great day, a great week, and we will talk to you next time. Bonus material. since you already did the extra credit, now you got to bonus it up too.
Yeah. So along the lines, so if you don't feel comfortable recording your material, if you have scripted your demo, one of the other things to do is to stand in front of a mirror, especially if you're not good at public speaking or speaking in general in front of crowds, and talk to the mirror like you're talking to your audience. Watch your hand gestures, watch how you're fidgeting, watch where your eyes go. That will help you read the room as you're giving the demo. Now, granted, your eyes may be down on the computer at certain times, but always make sure to look up, address your audience, and make sure you try to get them to participate within the demo.
I'm going to go with that as my bonus material. Audience participation is by far one of the best things that you can do. Now, it can be difficult sometimes, particularly because it takes an extra level of skill to be able to run a demo, keep it on the rails, and have audience participation. Because as soon as you do that, as soon as you have the audience participating, things can get very different very quick. And if you're not able to adapt, then you're going to see things go off the rails. And sometimes that's okay. But most of the times you want to be able, particularly for a demo, because yes, you want it memorable and entertaining and things like that. You also want to be able to demonstrate your product, your service, your application, whatever it happens to be. So don't lose sight of the actual goal of getting feedback and showing this thing off over people just had a really good time, but they can't remember what it was that you were selling, because there's some value in that, but it's like they need to remember what you're selling and say, wow, I enjoyed that time so well. I'm going to go enjoy that product so well. So that at the end of the day is one of the things we really want to get out of this.
And also get good at handling situations where you get in where the customer may get stuck on, why is that blue? And that has nothing to do with the application. It's a cosmetic feature. Work on ways to keep it to the feature set. Find ways to address the cosmetics in a way that lets them know they're heard, but can keep the conversation moving beyond just, hey, I don't like the color changes. You could easily lose 30 minutes of a conversation over a button.
Yes, very much work on your force skills and the whole, these are not the droids that you are looking for kinds of things, is use your skills to, direct people back on track. A lot of times that's not, in those kind of situations, it's really not that hard to just develop a habit of things like, yeah, that's a great idea. I'm going to write that down. And then you just move right along. So it's like, hey, they're heard. You documented it. Cool. And you move right along. But be ready for that, because those kinds of things will happen. You will be merrily going through your demo and somebody will suddenly want to get caught on, that you spelled gray, Grey, instead of Gray, or something like that. And it's like, doesn't matter who your audience is, you can get caught up on totally pointless things like that waste everybody's time. Been there, done that too many times. Extra bonus is, if you want to get really good at this stuff, go take an improv class somewhere. If you can learn how to do improv comedy, you can learn how to like dance your way through demos. It's amazing the value that will bring to you. Another value is us giving you some time to go do it. So I'm going to wrap this one up. We will come back. Not done with this season. Got plenty of episodes left to go. But for now, we're going to give you a break. Thank you so much for your time, and we will talk to you next time.